Yeah, let's understand some foundation of our object-oriented programming. Okay, first should be want to understand what is class. Okay, let's understand that one. Class is nothing but your what? Like nothing but your blueprint. Okay, just think of your like a template. Okay, or a cookie cutter. Okay, in the cookie cutter, what we'll do? We cut the cookies into what in a proper marks, right? Like when we want one oval shape, we want circle shape, one square shape. We convert that to shape. That can be a perfect properties of that one. It can be a set of properties. That can be your blueprint. It can be what class. Okay, it's not a real object itself, but it describes what how real object it will be made. Okay, it defines what characteristics as we discussed in our last classes, right? And what data they will hold and actions. Action is nothing but your functions. In function, which we called as in object oriented, call it as what methods. Okay, what are they or can do, and that objects of that type will be possessed like that. It called be as class. Simply understand what is class. Class is nothing but what blueprint, or class is what is a collection of objects. Okay, and I'll give you an example that can be what imagine the blueprint for our car. Okay, the car can be what the blueprint specific. Every car will have like that what color and what is the make of car and model like that. Everything in the car will be as a blueprint, right? And ability of to start what start engine, right? And accelerate brake. These are what function in your car. That can be what object oriented called as what methods. Okay, and the blueprints itself is not a car. You can drive into what? But it said it's a build your cars. Like that, you can build your cars also using what? Blueprint. Okay. Let's see what is an object. Okay. An object is nothing but what? Instance of your classes. It's nothing but what? In if your class, there is what blueprint. Okay. Then an object is what? Is the actual thing. Okay. Built from what? Blueprint. Okay. From blueprint, we are building what? Objects. Okay. It's real and tangible instance of what? Class that exists in your program. Like that, we can rebuild what? Object. This object is nothing but what? Instance of class. Okay, and you can create many objects from what single class like your parent, the parent having got so many children like that. If using what single class we can create what so many objects, and each with its own unique what set of data. It's nothing but you have a perfect blueprint for your build what home. Okay, that nothing but what blueprint is considered what class. Okay, using the class you're creating what you're building your home like that, that called as what objects. Okay, you can see an example that can be what I take another example as what is our what car blueprint. We can build what, and let me take what one red Toyota car me. That is what one is an object. Okay, that object having what this car having what color is what red. Who made that one? Toyota company. What is the model of that car? Car me like that. Let me take another object that is what a blue Honda Civic is what another car is considered as what one object. So the object having some properties, right? Like that what color is what blue, and may always made that one Honda company. And what is that model? Civic. Like that, there is a some properties. Okay, each of these is what distinct car object. Like that, it should be what considered. Okay, this is what about your objects. Okay, remember class is what blueprint. Object is what instance of a class, or it can be what existing from what your class. Okay, also class is considered a what your collection of objects. Okay, from object from class we can create what multiple objects using what class. Okay, let's see states. Okay, states is nothing but your attributes. Attributes nothing but your properties. Okay, you see, right? That let me take this car. The car having what so many properties. It's nothing but what color, make, model. That are the properties. Okay, that called as what states in what object-oriented programming words. Okay, and it called as what states or nothing but your attributes. Okay, and behaviors. What is behavior? Behavior is nothing but your methods. Methods is nothing but your function. That can be your, let me take car means that can be what, start engine, accelerate, brake. That are called as what? Methods. Okay. That considered what as in object oriented programming words? Behaviors. Okay. And also called as what? Methods of an object. You have to remember this one. This is very, very important. Okay. And you can see, right, every object is defined by what? Two key components. The thing, but what are the key component? State and behavior. Okay, let's see first one. What? State. State is nothing but what? Attributes. Attributes nothing but what? Properties. Okay, remember these words. Okay, and the states of an objects or the data are characteristic of what? To describe that. Okay, think of them like a nouns or adjectives that will describe something. Okay, in Python, these are what typically variables defined with what? Your class. Let me take one example that is called as for student. Okay, student is considered as what one in this one object oriented. It is what object, right? But object considering what some of the attributes, some of the states, or some of the properties. What is the properties? Name, student ID, grade level. These are considered as what? Object. Okay, this object, what name object is considering what? Name is what? Alias. Student ID is what? S101. Grade level is what? 10th. Is what? 10th class. Okay, like that, some properties, some attributes, some states are there. Like that. Okay, this is what? State. Okay, let me take what? Behaviors. Okay, behavior is nothing but what? Methods or functions. Okay, also consider what? Method and functions. Okay, behavior of an what? Of an object or the action it can perform. Okay, or action that can be performed on it. Okay, this is what called as what? Behaviors. Okay, think of what? It's a verbs. This is for us. Think as what? Noun. Okay, noun is nothing but your name, right? Okay, verb is nothing but action. Okay, remember that one. Then you can easily understand. Okay, in Python, these are what? Function and defined inside what? A class called as what? Methods. Okay. Example, let me take what? Student. Let me, student object with behavior could be what? Like student study. Okay, that caliber study and submit assignment and attend class. You can observe, right? After every word, there is what? Parenthesis. Okay, that parenthesis, when you see the parenthesis, that nothing but what? Method or function or behavior. Okay, simple thing. Remember what is behavior? That is verb. Verb is nothing but is doing actions. Okay, state is nothing but noun. Noun is nothing but they are the sum of the adjectives, some of the nouns, or some of the properties, some of the attributes. Okay, this was what? Two main what? Every object defined what? Two main key components. That is what was state and behavior. Okay, you can, let's see the next topic, that is for what? Syntax of your class in Python. You can see here is syntax. Okay, this can be how to define your class in Python. Okay, first should be what? You have to call what? Class keyword. When you type the class in your program, the system can understand you are using what? Class. So that's why I want to mention what? Class. This is what? Class is a what? Keyword. Okay, after that you have to mention what? Class name. Okay, class name is nothing but you have to follow what? Variable properties. Okay, you have to use what? Variable properties. Then you can use what? Any name for that class name. Okay, and class is also what? Two types. One is what? On built-in function class, and another class is what? User-defined class. Okay, you are creating now what? The class? User-defined class. Okay, I'm taking what? Class, and after that you have to mention what? Class name. After that, end with what? Colon. After the colon, you have to mention should what? Maintain what? Indentation. Okay, indentation is nothing but you have to maintain what? It will take automatically. If not take, you have to maintain what? How many space? Four spaces or one tab space. Okay. After that, you have to include here what? Variables, constructor, methods. Okay. You'll learn what? Already you learned what? Variables. In upcoming class, you'll learn what? Constructor, methods. Okay. Finally, you have to mention what? Object name. Object name is equal to what? Object name is nothing but you are creating what? Object. Okay. Is equal to what? You have to mention what your class name. What you given your class name, you have to mention the class name. After that, you have to pass some arguments. Okay. This is what syntax of your class in Python. Let's see one example for that class. Let me take what class what? Let me take what syntax of your class student. Okay. In class student, we can see, right? I'm creating one class. Our class name is what here? Student. Okay. This is the, let me take what one special method. We discuss in a methods in a next classes in maintain neatly. Let me understand neatly. Okay. And this is what class special method that called as what a constructor. Constructor nothing but your what is that but special method. Okay. It's called automatically when you create a new student object. What? That can be what here self. Self refers to what to a specific object to be created. Okay, I'm creating one. You have to and to create some what actions. What you want to do? You have to create what functions, right? That can be what called as methods. So that's why I'm creating what def. After that, I have to mention use what init, and after that you have to pass some what parameter. That what are the parameters? Self, comma, and self is what specific object. Okay, comma name, comma student ID, comma grade level, and pass the parameter. Then should be at what end with what colon. Then afterward using what self dot name is equal to what name. What I'm doing here assigning the input, that is what the name, that to the what object name that can be called as what your attribute. Okay, this is what we are assigning that one. Okay, that can be what. And next I'm taking another one, that is what self dot student ID is equal to what student ID. Next one is what self dot grade level is equal to what your grade level. Okay, this is what assigning your what nothing but your input to a object's name attribute. Okay, let me take what this is what let me create what method for your action for nothing but your behavior. What can be a that our student object can perform. Or let me what student what first action should be what introduce yourself like that. So I'm taking your what defining introduce, that is what your function name or method name, and after that I'm passing what self. Okay, self must should be used. Okay, then should be what return. I'm using your what f string method. Then finally what hello, my name is what in your self name. Or if, when we mention what the student one name is, it will automatically takes that name and fixed in the what year self name. Then I am in grade and self dot grade level. Okay. And after creating one another method, that method is called as what? Def study. That can be what self comma subject. Okay. Then returning what f self dot name is studying what subject. This is what I'm creating two functions. What is the first function? That is what introduce, and second is what study. Okay. These are the key components you study, right? Class two, I'm creating what's class student. That will define nothing but your the class name as what student. Then you use what init and self. Is nothing but what init mark. When you using the init, that method is called as what constructor method. Okay, it's a crucial for your initializing your states. Nothing but your the attributes or properties of your new object. When it's created, the self parameter is what refers to what your newly created object. Okay, then you are using what self name. The self dot name is equal to name. That can be what your input. You are giving the input to your what object attribute. Okay, then you should be what introduce yourself and study this are what your methods. Nothing but you are doing what action. Okay, self is what always should be what your first parameter. After that, you can use what any parameter. That can be what allowing them to the access to what your objects of you can create what own attributes. Okay, then we creating what self dot name and self dot grade level. This are what we're creating some variable like that. Okay, after that, let me creating and interacting with your objects. Okay, we created what one blueprint we get right from the syntax that can be what kind. You can as a create what any or any many objects can be your perform. That can be you can create any objects, many objects, and can be your instances. Okay, as you need from what here each object will be what independent. That can be what but to share what structure of defined by the class. Okay, let's create what the class. The class is considered what student class. Okay, still know you studied what syntax. Okay, O will be the blueprint will be present. We are creating what now class. Okay, then I'm creating here what class with the name as what student. I will always end with what colon. You can see here, right? I created what class. After the class keyword, I mention what class name. When I go to here, you can say right, student is what class. Automatically what it's converted. Okay. From the colors you can see right. Okay. From the colors you can decide what is that what is that word. Okay. That can be a variable. That can be a function. That can be what your building function or can be what keywords like that. And then after that you have to use what init to what initialization or constructor method. Okay, def init. After that, you have to pass some parameters. That is what self. Self should be what first parameter when using what constructor method. That called as what init. Okay. After that, you have to follow with what name, student ID, grade level. These are the parameter I take. After it, end with colon. Then self dot name is equal to what your name. Then self dot student ID is equal to what student and self dot grade level is equal to what your grade level. Okay. Then after that, yeah, what I'm doing here, doing some methods, nothing but your actions. So what are you to create here now? Def introduce self, introduce that is taking on a method called as what introduce. After that, I might pass some parameter. That is what parameter self. Then I am returning what return. That should be return when they call the introduce that one. So I have to return what hello, my name is what? Your in self dot name, your name will become what are the when we pass some student some and my ID is what self dot student ID and I am in a grade. Okay. And you can see the self dot grade level here. Okay. And after that, I'm creating another method called as what steady. Okay, using what self comma subject as a parameter. So if you want to study means that we will be taught particular subject, right? So I'm returning that one self dot name is directly studying what that subject. Okay, and after that, if you want to change the grade level means that can be what action, right? So that's why I'm creating another one that is called as what change grade level. So self comma new label I'm taking. So why I'm new label parameter is taking to override it. To so first you be your print. The self is grade level is for changing from what first grade to what second grade. That's nothing but your new level. And that can be what I'm taking what because I'll not created here what new label. That can be what I'll be created what your grade level only. So here what I'm taking here self dot grade level is equal to what new level. Okay, what is nothing but this thing what I'm swapping to what new label. That nothing but some let me take what is now saying what 90 pass. So we what like next class is what 10th class. Okay, that we will be promoted like that. After that, you have to mention what create object. You can see right. First you what class, and nothing after that your class name. Just after that variable constructor method. What we created here variables created and your constructor is created. Constructor nothing but your init or self method. After we created what methods. Method is nothing but introduce, steady, or change grade level. After that we have to create what object name is equal to what class name. After that you have to pass some what parameters, nothing but your arguments. Okay, I'm creating what here objects. So after what are the object I'm taking here student one is equal to what student of I'm passing here what some arguments. What are that argument? We created some variables, right? So I'm passing the parameter that is what Alice Smith, comma and S101, comma 10. So we created what first object. Okay, I'm creating next one student 2. I'm passing what student of Bob Johnson, comma S102, comma 9. So I created some objects here. So let's run this. After running this class is created and this variable is created, this actions is all set and object also created. Okay, let's do access that one. So to access that one, we are creating what accessing states that can nothing but your attributes. So I'm printing what accessing state is started like that. I'm printing that one. After that, I have to print right. Student print what I want some student one name and nothing but student one name. So I'm creating I'm calling here what student one dot name. I'm calling that variable. After that, I want student two's IDs. So I'm creating here what student two dot student ID. Why I'm using your dot operator? I'm calling that one. You're using what method? Nothing but your action, right? So how to call that one? So the name is here what created, right? So name, student ID, grade level. These are what methods. Okay. So I'm calling that one. Okay. So when I call that is student one dot name or student two dot student ID, will get the particular data. So I'm running this one. You can see that accessing started. Student one name is what? Alai Smith. Student two's ID is what? S102. We can change here. So I want student what? Student one ID here. So let me change here. Student one's ID. You can see that S102. If I run what? I want what? Student ID is what? S101. I want that one. Can right? You can see that student one is ID is what? Student 101. Let me work. Let me take what year student 3. But we not created that one, right? Can say it, we get what? Student one is run. Because your Python was from what? Interpreter, line by line. Okay, first line is what? We get that one. After that line, we get what? Error, right? So getting what here? Student 3 is not what? Defined. Like that. If that object is not created, right? That's why we're getting what? Error. This is the what? Your beauty of your Python. Okay. Let me do what? Calling the behavior. Nothing but your what? Methods. Okay. I am here taking your what? Calling behaviors. Okay. So to calling behavior, what I'm doing is what? Print. Student one. Nothing but your first object. Dot. I'm calling what? Method. That method name is what? Introduce. When you're using the method, you have to use what? That method name. After that, what? Parenthesis. Before calling method, you have to mention what? Dot operator. So this what it will do was when we do the student one dot introduce, it will do what? Alias what? Introduce yourself. Okay, introduce yourself. And when you're using the student do dot study, it will I'm passing what? Mathematics, because we use what? Mathematics as a subject. So Bob studies what? Maths. We collect that, we get the output. So let me run this. Can see right. Hello, my name is what? Alai Smith. My ID is what? S101, and I am in what? Grade 10. Okay. Bob Johnson is delicately studying what? Mathematics. Like that, what? Your method will be work. This is the beauty of your object-oriented programming. Okay. You have to good in fundamental means you can go to what? Next hoop concept, nothing but your pillars of your hoops. Okay, nothing but your inheritance, abstraction, like that. Okay. We can do what? Modifying. What we created for modifying a grade level, right? That we created what one method called as what? Change grade level. So I'm using what? Here modifying state using what here method. So to know the what will be changed. So that's why I'm using what before change and after change. I'm taking a what before change that one nothing but your student one name is what is in and create student one dot grade level. That will be first your first level. Okay. When after that you have to changing right. That's to change that one student one dot your change grade level. After you have mentioned what new level. That is not nothing but I'm passing here what 11. Okay. Allies move to what here? Grade 11 when I run this. So after change, you can see that a student one name is now in what? Grade. That is what student one is grade 11. I think but you are 11. Then let me run this. You can see right now. Before change, Ally Smith is what in a grade 10. Ally Smith grade level is changing from what? 10 to 11. For this method will be what return the statement. After that, after change, Ally Smith is what? Is now in what? Grade 11. Like that, what will be work beautifully. Okay, you have to work with what F string method. Then you easily can work with the Python programming or object-oriented program. In the upcoming classes, we use what always F-string method only. So that's why work with, for example, daily. Okay, let's discuss type of your states. Okay, let's deeper dive into what your states. Okay, in states there are two types. One state is called as what? Generic state, and then nothing but your general state. And another type is what? Specific state. Okay, let's clarify your different types of states. Okay, and first type is what? Your generic state. Generic state is now also called as what? Instance attributes. Okay, it's a unique object. Each object what created from your class. Okay, will it what have its own copy of this what this attribute, and its value should be a what can be a different from every object. Okay, like that your student one is having what different every object, right? Student one is what different and student two is different. Student three is nothing but your different object. Okay, nothing but your what that can be your unique of each object. Okay, and each object is created what from your what class, right? Using the class, we can create what many objects. Okay, that can be what your own copy. Nothing but your blueprint is a copy, right? Okay, of the your attribute, and its value can be what different for every object. Like that, it will be work. Okay, and this is what typically what initialize what when using what init method used, right? But the init method is called as what constructor using what self dot attribute name. Okay, this is what we are critical for initialization in object oriented programming. Okay, and example you can see, right? Student. Okay, after the student class, when we using the student class, that will take and write some objects that is what name, student ID, grade level, or what generic state. And because each student what has their own name, ID, or grade, this is what unique thing. Okay, and let me take another example, that is what your car. Okay, let me take here car, that as a class name. I'm initializing that one using what init. So after that self comma make. These are what some parameters I'm packing. Make is nothing but who made that one, which companies made that one. And after that I'm taking that model to know the car model. After that color. After that what year. These are what your generic states. Okay, that can nothing but your what instance attributes. Okay, and each car object will be what having its what own value for this. Okay, let me take here what this for. Let me create what here what input what its own objects. Okay, I'm taking what how to create what input to the own object. Self dot make is equal to what make. Self dot model is equal to what model, and self dot color is equal to what color. Self dot year is equal to what year, and self current speed is equal to what here 0. Another instance attribute can be what change for what each car. Okay, that can be what we can changeable. Okay, these are nothing but what we're creating some variables. Okay, afterward we have to create some methods, right? The method is called as what here I'm doing what def accelerate. So I'm using what here accelerate as a method. Okay, after that I'm using what speed increase. When I press what accelerate, the speed is increased, right? That's why I'm using what some parameter what speed increase. Okay, after that, I'm passing what another one, that is what your self dot current speed. Nothing but a changeable, right? Self dot current speed is equal to what? Plus equal. When I'm using what plus equal, nothing but self dot current speed is equal to self dot current speed plus what speed increase. Okay, this is the beauty of what you are plus equal operator. Okay, after that, you have to use what speed increase. I use speed increase, nothing but after when you're using the speed increase, that speed will be added to what your current speed. Then we'll get what total speed. Okay. And I'm returning what f dot self dot color and self dot meet and self dot model accelerated to what self dot current speed mph. Okay. mph means what meter per hour. Okay. Then nothing but we using what when we call that this accelerate method, this will be return the statement. Okay, nothing but instead dot color will be color name, make which company make and which model, like that. And after that, what your current speed. That we interchange to these variables. Okay. After that, I am creating one two different car object. Let me take two cars. Okay, that can be a each car having the what is own generic states, right? Okay, I'm nothing but your generic properties. I'm taking here what car one is equal to what car of Toyota. Toyota is nothing but who made that one, and after Camry, this is nothing but model. Then color, then what year, what model or nothing but your year name. Okay. Then nothing but I'm taking here what car two, that is nothing but car and Honda Civic and blue and 2024. Okay. I'm taking here what car one. When I print what car one should be what I'm taking what car one dot color. If you can make any, you can take interchange. When you call the color, you'll get color like that. Car1 dot me, car1 dot model, and here what? Well, car1 dot year. Because here not I am not created. That's why I'm taking here what? Here. Okay. And print. So when I using what car1 dot accelerate of 50. So when I do the word 50, your current speed is for 0. 0 plus when you increase right 50, okay, that nothing but 0 plus 50. So what is the speed of your carbon? 50 mph like that. Okay, after I print the car 2, I'm accelerate 30. Okay, when I using the car 2 is what? Another new objects, my current speed is what? 0. So when I'm add to 30, that is what increase speed. What is your current speed of your car to 30? Like that, it will be printed here. Okay, so let's run this. When I run this, the class is created. After that, the carbon car2 object is created. Then the carbon details is printed. Car2 is printed. Here you can see it. Carbon is what? Red Toyota Camry year for 2023, and car2 is what? For blue Honda Civic and year 2024. This two line will be printed. After that, you perform your action. You can see right? Perform the action that your right Camry is for accelerate what 50 mph and blue Honda Civic accelerate what 30 mph. After that, you have to calculate your what speed, right? That nothing but your car one speed is what 50 mph, car two speed is what 30 mph. Okay, and here I initialize with what 0. You can mention here what 100. Okay, so I mention here 100 is automatically changed to what here car one speed is what 150 आ गए थे. Next car two speed is what 130 speed. Like that it will be work. You can see right 150, 130. Like that it will be work. Let me take here 0 only. So let's run this. You can see right. Okay, I'm taking here what only two cars, car one and car two. Okay, you can create what n number of objects. Okay, when you call that specific car, a specific student will get what that specific state, a specific properties of that car as students. Okay, we can get the particular data. That is the beauty of what object oriented programming. Okay, this is what our generic state. Okay, let's see what specific state. Okay, specific state is nothing but your class attributes. Okay, where the nothing but your generic state is nothing but your instance attribute. Okay, specific state is nothing but your what class attribute. Okay, nothing but your shared or by all objects of your class. It's a value. It's the same of every instance and belongs to what to the class itself, not to what any individual object. Okay, that is the beauty of your specific state. Let me do one example, then you can easily understand that one. Okay, it's not defined directly within the class body outside of your any methods. Okay, let me take here student example. So as a class attribute, so it could be what school name is what is equal to what Springfield I. So I'm taking what school name is what Springfield I. Okay, you can see it shared by all object of a class. Okay, value should be what some every instant and it belongs to what class itself. So that's why I'm creating what one school name. So school name is equal to what Springfield I. Okay, as well as what all students in the class should be what attending the same school. Okay, like that. Okay, I'm creating here what class student. As student is here what class name and the specific state what as a class attribute, right? So all students from your class share from what same school name. Nothing but okay. That's why I'm creating what outside the class. Okay, you can say and mention here what outside the any methods. So define creating what any methods. I'm creating what here class attribute. Nothing but all if all students is include or what belongs to what one school, right? That's why it's outside the class. Okay, from school name is what Greenwood High School. Okay, I'm taking another class name and then nothing but your class attribute. I'm taking here what total student. Nothing but I'm initializing with what 0. Another class attribute what you have to count the students. Okay, let me take one action, nothing but your initializing and self. I'm passing some parameters that working about name, student ID, and grade level. After that, I'm creating what we are creating some variables to what used to input to their own object in what object oriented programming. So first I'm creating what name, but nothing but you have to create what self dot name is equal to what name. Then self dot student ID is equal to what student ID. Self dot grade level is equal to what grade level. Okay, and after that I'm creating what here student. I'm calling what here student. as a class name. Nothing but we're taking what some class attribute. It is nothing but student dot total students. If you want to use what your student total student, you have to use what you have to call for student. Then after using a dot operator, you have to call what total student. Then only it will be taken. Otherwise, it will be not work. It will get what error. That is the beauty of your what class attribute. I am using here what plus is equal to what one. Nothing but what increment total student when the new object is created. Nothing but it will be added to what total student. Okay. I'm taking what another action that is what introduce. So after that, I'm passing parameter self as a parameter and returning hello. My name is that is nothing but when we call some student, that name will become and the school is nothing but all school name will be same, right? That is what Greenwood High School. Okay. So I'm creating some objects. Student A is equal to what? Student and Emily White is our name and S20 what is ID and 11 nothing but your level, grade level and student B and that is nothing but David Green S202 and 12. Okay. If using the student class name, you have to pass them these parameters to this object. Okay. Nothing but your student A or student B. Okay. After that, I'm printing that one student A schools and student B school. It's nothing but we'll get the same school, right? That is what Greenwood School, Greenwood High School. And you can also access some attributes directly through what? Your class name. So that's why I'm creating what? Student.school name and student.total student. When I added to this students, and student B, the total students will be changed. Okay. And we can be change the class attribute to what it will be affect all instances. Nothing but your student one dot student class name yours and dot school name. I'm calling that method and is equal to what new city academy. Nothing but I'm doing the change in the school name for all student. I'm printing what after changing the school name. So student is what new school is what new city academy and student B school is what new city academy like that. It can be changed easily. Okay, like that. So I will run this. After running this, the class is created and variables object is created and method will be action will be created. So student A, student B object will be created. Then our student A and student B school is printed. Nothing but Greenwood High School and Greenwood High School. After that, what will we do? What school name? That was nothing but the school name by our class. We'll be accessing that one. Two. After that, total students be created like that. You can see it, right? School name is for Greenwood High School. And total students we created what? Two students, like student A and student B. That's nothing but what? Two. After that, we have to create changing what class attribute. It affects for all instances, right? So I'm taking what here student the school name is equal New City Academy. Nothing but the Greenwood High School is changed to what? New City Academy. So when I run this, you can see that student A is new school what? New City Academy. Student B as new skill is what? New City Academy. Like that it will be work. This is the beauty of your what? Object-oriented programming in a particular what? Your specific state. Just understand specific means the specific offer all students, nothing but. Generic means a particular object is having particular what? Properties like your car. Okay. And what we discussed today, let's quickly review that one. We learn what class, right? Class is nothing but what blueprint for of your creating object. Then we learn what object. Object is nothing but your real estate of created from a class. Okay, and class is also called as what your collection of your objects. Using the class, we can create what many objects. Okay, then we discuss what states. States is nothing but what attributes, and the data will be the describes an objects unique to each object or shared across all your objects. Okay. And our state is having what? Two types. That is what generic state and specific state. Okay. Generic state is also called as what? Instance attributes. Okay. Nothing but what? Unique to what? Your each object. So nothing but your self dot name. Okay. After that, you're using what? Specific state. Okay. Nothing but your also called as what? Your class attributes. So that is nothing but shared by all objects using what? One class and nothing but your class attributes. So I'm using here what class name dot school name. But here we use what self for all things same self dot name. Here we use what class name as a class attribute dot school name. Okay. And behaviors. It's nothing but your methods. Methods is having about three types. That is what instant method, class method, and static method. We learn deeply on uh, tomorrow class. Okay, method is nothing but your function, nothing but your action can be your object can be performed. And instant method is nothing but your operate on specific object data, nothing but your self is working like nothing but your instant method. And class method is nothing but I said nothing but class attribute and operate what class level data and serve as what alternative constructors, nothing but your CLS. We using what as self as a parameter, right? Here we use what CLS. Okay, we will discuss in tomorrow classes for this one. Static method also to really function independent of your object or class data. In this method, we cannot use what parameter like that, no self or CLS. Okay, let's stop here and continue the next classes. Okay.